Hello, everyone. Today we will figure out how to assess planet placements in the Lagna. When a planet enters the Lagna, we consider its role. If a central planet enters my Lagna, I should speak well of it, as it's the center's lord, trine. If a central planet enters my Lagna, I should speak positively as it's the center's lord. But if it's not friendly, trine planets are friends, but malefic ones like the 6th, 8th, and 12th. Planets in the trine are friends, but malefic ones, like the lords of the 6th, 8th, and 12th houses, are bad. If linked to the Lagna lord, how do we streamline these rules? Discuss the planet's dignity, yogas, self-view, lordship timing, and priorities. In Scorpio rising, if the moon is debilitated in along with that, we will discuss the dignity of the N planet, in which yogas it is involved, how the planet feels about itself, when and how much lordship should be given, and what should be looked at first. For example, in Scorpio rising, if the moon comes into the Lagna as a debilitated planet and it is my 9th lord, what should I say about it? Should I speak positively or negatively? In Cancer rising, A. Debilitated Mars is in the Lagna. So, should I say that my yoga karaka has come to me, or that a debilitated Mars has come to me? How should we completely read this, and what should we say about the planet sitting in that Lagna, whether good or bad? We will discuss all these points. How to read planet placements exactly in the Lagna? What should we look for? The things I've mentioned so far are about what the dignity of the planet is. This is what we should look at first. The planet is exalted or debilitated in its sign. This is the sign of the enemy. Because if a planet from an enemy sign comes into your Lagna, then obviously this is going to be a strong negative feeling. It won't feel happy. A debilitated planet uplifts negative traits. An exalted planet, even if it is a malefic, is still a very dignified planet. You need to consider the dignity of the planet before looking at other factors. After that, in the second step, we check whether it is the lord of the center or the lord of the trine. Is it a Markesh or a Trisha Daya Pati? How does it maintain relationships? That planet is related to the Lagna lord. In which yogas is it involved? How is that planet's association and conjunction with other planets? Does he consider them a friend or not? What is it for the Lagna lord? Basically, how is that planet feeling when it is sitting in your Lagna? And the last, most important thing is the dispositor of the planet. Whatever planet has come into the Lagna, we need to see where the Lagna lord is and how it is placed. Like, look at this chart during the time period of Mars, which is the Yoga Karaka. In this chart, I should say everything good that your 10th lord is in the Lagna, but it is debilitated and is aspected by Saturn. Saturn is related not only to the Lagna, but also to the Lagna lord. Lagna lord in 4th house, afflicted by exalted lords. Mars and Jupiter link 5th and 9th lords with Lagna, beneficial. This association of Mars is also with Jupiter, so basically the association of my 5th and 9th lords is forming with my Lagna, which should be very good for my chart. Now, what should I say during the time period of Mars? This is going to be a bit confusing because I am looking at so many factors together. And what happened with them is very overly emotional, especially regarding my child. Whenever there is a plan involving a debilitated planet, and since Mars is debilitated in a watery sign, you do not know how to justify it, and the emotions are afflicted in the Lagna Lord's 4th house. They feel that my child is not secure with my husband and with my loss. They become overly protective, fearing something might happen to them, that they need care. They also face blood issues. But Mars, a Yoga Karaka, is protected by other planets, so this time isn't too bad. However, the moon, my mind significator and Lagna lord, causes trouble from its position. I feel agitated by my in-laws, unable to justify my anger. I can't understand why I feel my in-laws would harm me without reason. The moon, my mind significator and Lagna lord, troubles me from its position. I feel angry due to my in-laws. In this chart, Venus, a malefic for the Lagna, is both the 3rd and 1st lord, unfriendly to the Lagna lord. It associates with Saturn, its friend, but lacks a strong bond with the Lagna lord. I just can't understand why I feel that my in-laws would do something to me even though there is no reason for it. Let's discuss this chart, where Venus, a malefic planet for the Lagna, is both the third and first lord. It's associated with Saturn, a friend, but not strongly allied with the Lagna lord. The native questioned why Saturn's period wasn't bad, despite the 12th lord's association in the Lagna. We discussed the planet's dignity. Venus, a natural benefic, grants intelligence, good taste, and cleanliness, preventing involvement in trivial matters. The arrival of both of these in the Lagna and the time period of Saturn was the native's main question. Why didn't the time period of Saturn turn out to be bad for me, when it should have? Because the association of the 12th lord is happening in my Lagna, which should afflict me, since my lord is exalted. First of all, what did we talk about? The dignity of the planet. If Venus, which is a natural benefic planet, is in your Lagna, it will give you intelligence, good tastes, a good way of dressing, speaking, and maintaining cleanliness. It won't let you get involved in trivial matters. So we will try to keep Venus under check. Now, if I talk about the Dharma of travel, my Rahu and 12th Lord are in my Lagna, but we need to look at the dispositor, too. After seeing the dignity of the planet, Saturn is also in the same sign here, and Saturn is in the sign of Jupiter. Jupiter, being exalted, is protecting its Lagna very well. The dispositor of both of these and the Lagna Lord are very well placed. I will make sure that this Lagna doesn't face any issues. We talked about the death-inflicting position, and here Saturn is also in the death-inflicting position. In that regard, I should say that my 11th Lord will give me endless issues, and the 12th Lord will also trouble me. But we also discussed that in the death-inflicting position, we need to see whether there is a loss of that house or a loss of the planet's significations. Now, because Jupiter is so strong, there was no loss to Jupiter, meaning there was no loss to the Lagna. Now, talk about Saturn. Saturn is the sign of karma. When I look at the karma house, I see that the lord of my karma is well placed. So their profession was also going well at that time. But there should be something happening, right? There should be a decline in the significations of Saturn because Saturn is in a death-inflicting position. Saturn signifies elder siblings, and in this case, Saturn is also the 11th lord. During Saturn's main period, misunderstandings arose with its siblings. The issue was Saturn's association with Venus, which it loves. This didn't feel negative. If Saturn were alone, I'd predict negativity due to a planetary war in my Lagna. My 6th lord would enter with the 12th lord, causing a planetary war in a watery sign, lacking strength. This would be uncomfortable, and their mutual dharma would suffer. Did Saturn and Venus not disrupt their mutual dharma? If Saturn's association were without the presence of any armies, what would I say? I would say something very negative. Because there would be a planetary war happening in my Lagna, my 6th lord would be a friend and would come into my Lagna. But it would be with the 12th lord, and it would itself be in a planetary war, in a watery sign, where it wouldn't gain strength. And because of that association, it wouldn't feel comfortable, and the mutual dharma between them wouldn't be good either. So, did Saturn and Venus not cause them any problems in their mutual dharma? No, not mob case. Talking about health issues, they had a problem with kidney stones. When Saturn's time period was going on, Venus is the significator. Now, if we assume that Scorpio is rising and the moon is in the Lagna, should I say everything is bad? No. First of all, how is the moon feeling? What is the situation of Mars? Is the moon in a favorable position or not? Who is the moon associated with? Here you will see emotional imbalances, hormonal issues. If Saturn or any malefic planet has an association with the moon, whether it's a natural or functional malefic planet, if the moon is involved in a good yoga and is strong on its own, then you can't just look at a debilitated moon in the Lana and say bad things. Now, if Gemini is rising and Jupiter is in my Lagna, then I can say that my Markesh is in my Lagna Jupiter being a planet that is the most benefic. It is in my Lagna, and Jupiter also creates the central and other husband defects here. You see, Jupiter will definitely provide intelligence in this case. But if Jupiter is associated with natural or functional, cruel planets, especially if that cruel planet is not dignified, weak. If it's affected, then Jupiter troubles you. Jupiter will add to the problem as it must face Mars. Now Jupiter will add on to the problem because he has to be a martyr. This entire story from AJ Always is a must read. A weak planet has come into my ascendant, it became bad. But it's a yoga karaka, so it has become good. You shouldn't justify your statements just by knowing the events. What kind of planet is it? Who is it? And what is it feeling? To check the rethinking matters. And concerned areas, you should definitely look at the same planet in the divisional charts. Thank you much.